Hello, my crafty friends. My name is Linda Edwards, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator with Crafty Hair and Designs. And I'm going to show you how to make this cute little treat box. It holds 2 Hershey Nugget chocolates. Dark chocolate is my favorite, so my treat boxes always, well, almost always include some kind of dark chocolate. So if there's any leftovers, I can have them for myself. I know maybe that's a little selfish, but I've never gotten any complaints from anybody about getting dark chocolate. So I'm going to show you how to make this. I'm going to start with the Endless Love Stampin' die set. It's actually the dies that we'll be using, a couple of the dies. And then we're also using the Branching Out dies, which are some of my favorite from Stampin' Up. And then these cute little doilies. Aren't they adorable? They come in 2 colors and 2 sizes. So there's a red and a large red and pink and a small red and pink. And if you don't like those colors, you can turn them over and either just use the white side or you can use your blending brushes to color them. So they've been a lot of fun to add to projects. They're called the Lovely Doilies. So there you go. That's what we're gonna use half of one today to make our box. And of course, the Branching Out dies have been around. I think they were in the fall catalog, and they've been around for a little while. So let's go ahead and get started. To make the first thing I do is make the inside of the box. Well, maybe not the first thing, but that's what I'm going to show you first. So the box top they're just off by about 1/8 of an inch. So the top is bigger, obviously, so they can nest. The box top is 3 1/4 by 2 5/8. Here, I'll bring my little notes in here so you can take a little picture of that if you wanted to reproduce these. So it's 3 1/4 by 2 5/8, and it's scored at all 4 sides at 5/8 of an inch. So you can see all 4 sides. The box bottom is just 1/8 of an inch smaller, so it's 3 1/8 by 2 1/2, but it's also scored at 5/8 of an inch. Now I've already done all the die cutting, so I'll just bring that in to show you. You'll need just some scrap of real red and white and to cut your dies with those Branching Out dies, and you can see how they nest. So the larger one is the 4th largest, and then the 3rd largest. And I score the larger one at 1 5/8 and 2 1/4. Oh, this one's not scored. So let's go ahead and bring in my scoreboard and let's do that together. Because one of those score lines is a 1/16 of an inch, so it's 1 7/16, I'm using my Stampin' trimmer. See, I gotta bring my paper out so that I can see what it is. So the first one's pretty straightforward, 1 5/8 and 2 1/4. So if you're not familiar, or, it's been a long time for some of us since we've done this fraction math, right? So the large lines, as you can see, these are 1 inch. I'll just do a quick. The next shorter is a 1/2 inch mark, and the one beyond that is 1/4 of an inch. Okay, but we're looking at 1 5/8. You could simply count every other line. These are actually divided into 16ths. I have a little pointer. So every line is 1/16. If you want to go by 5/8, so we know 1/8 or 1 inch, and 5/8 is, you count every other, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's actually just 1/8 of an inch larger than a 1/2. So I'm slide it over there. Make sure you've got the correct, whether you got the scoring or the correct blade. This is the scoring blade, it's the gray one, and I'm just gonna do it back and forth. That's 1 5/8. And then the next one is 2 1/4. So 2 here and 1/4, slide that over. Okay, and now on the white, which is the 3rd largest, we're gonna score it 1 7/16 on each side. So the 1 is pretty straightforward. The 16th, you can just count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. But we know 8/16 is a 1/2 of an inch. So it's 1 tick mark shorter than 8/16. There you go. And because this one's a little bit tight, I'm gonna actually do the same thing on each side. Rather than give you two different measurements, you just turn it over and do the same thing on each side so that it's right there in the middle. Okay, no more math. We're done. So we'll go ahead and fold these, and I'm not gonna burnish these because I want them to be a little bit, I want a little wiggle room so that I can, when I put it together, it all works. So here we have our box, top and bottom. Again, the larger one is the top, and I'm going to show you how to make a box. You've probably made one before, but I'm going to just go ahead and show you anyway. So we're going to cut, you can see how when you've got the scoring, the one side kind of is a divot, right? It's a valley, and the other side is a mountain. So what I like to do when I'm making boxes and I'm cutting is I'm going to cut to the inside. I'm actually cutting out that mountain is really what I'm doing. All the way around, cutting out the little mountain. Get that out of my way. Now, if you look closely, you can see that I've got a little bit of an angle on this side, and I'm going to do the same thing on this side just to cut back some of the bulk when I make the box. Okay, we'll do the same thing over here. This side I'm cutting to the left of the mountain and there to the right, and then cut off the end. I just find that getting rid of that bulk of that mountain goes a long way toward helping these nest together. I do want this middle flap to be a little bit on the straighter side, only because it helps me when I line it up, but it's not really that big of a deal. Start on the right, work my way in. And you can always go back and trim a little bit when you make your box if you find that it's not quite, that you didn't quite trim enough. Okay, and then I'm gonna go ahead and burnish. I could have burnished beforehand. Either way works, but I didn't, so I'm gonna do it now. And then this side and this side. We are actually finally enjoying some warm weather here. I'm in middle Georgia, and it's gonna be in the 70s today, so I'm gonna do this. I share this with you, and then I'm gonna go out for a walk, get out of the house for a little bit. Okay, so as you saw, I put the glue on the little tabs, and then I'm gonna make my box. I like to use liquid glue for this because it does give me a little bit of wiggle room. I find when I use tear and tape, sometimes I'm looking for something here. So when I use tear and tape, sometimes I find that it's just harder for me to work with because I don't have that wiggle room. So now I have these little, aren't these cute little clothespins? One of my fellow demonstrators gave those to me. I'm pretty sure she got them on Amazon. But it does help to hold the corners together for just a minute. So I like to use those. Now I am folding so that the valley is on the outside. So I cut with the mountain on the inside and I fold with the valley on the outside. With Stampin' Up paper, it's not that big of a deal because the paper is colored all the way through. But if you're using like the two-tone paper where maybe it's two different colors, or if you're using another kind of cardstock that is maybe not, that has like white in the center, for sure that's important. So as you see, I've got this is the inside of my box. I'm putting my liquid adhesive on the outside of the tabs so that when I bring them together, they're going to glue on the inside. Hold it for just a second. And then I'm going to go ahead and put some of those little clothespins on there. Turn it over, the tabs to the inside, and do that again. So I like to do the make the box first because it'll give it a few minutes to dry while I make the rest of the treat holder. Okay, it's hard for me to talk and create at the same time. All right, so here I have, I'm gonna make the outside of the box, or the decorating part. Here, I'll show you, there's that right there. So I cut one of these doilies in half, as you can see. I just lined it up on my trimmer and cut right between that scallop. I lined the top and the bottom and cut it in half. So I get 2 of these from each doily. And now what I'm gonna do is a little bit of liquid adhesive, and I'm gonna go ahead and I'm doing, if you can see, I'm doing very little dots. It's really, you don't want it to gushing out all over the place. So you wanna be very light with it. If you're heavy-handed with the liquid glue, you might decide to use something else, but I feel like there's not a lot of other options, to tell you the truth. Okay, so now I want to line it up just along that score line in the branching out die, and I want it to be kind of top to bottom, pretty centered. So because I've done several of these, I know that this little heart here and this heart here are going to give me what I want. So I know they're going to be right at the end of that branching out die. See what I mean? It's kind of right there and there. So I kind of use that as my guide to putting it together. And you saw now with the adhesive, I didn't have it everywhere. It's okay, it's gonna hold. So do that. Let's see, let's go give it a good back rub. And then I'm gonna fold it a little bit and fold it here while it's still a little bit damp, so that then I get a good crease. But again, I don't feel like I need to burnish it. Okay, and I just folded it. So now I'm just gonna take this, I'm gonna center this on the red piece. So I'm not gonna put any adhesive on the fold marks. I'm just putting a little bit all the way around. And I am kind of trying to line that up. But again, one of the reasons I'm using my liquid adhesive is that I kind of put it down, get it pretty well centered, and then I take it up and then I fold it both sides so that I've got that little bit of give, because ultimately it's going to be, right, it's going to be like this. And I'll do the decorating at the end. All right, so let's check out our little boxes. And let's put a couple of nuggets in there. So this, this design, that's the top. Actually, I cannot remember the demonstrator's name. She did it with, I think she did it with 3 nuggets for a Christmas craft. And I'm so sorry, I cannot remember who it was. And I tried looking for it and I couldn't. I adapted it, but I got the idea from her. I adapted it to 2 nuggets. So I made the boxes a little bit smaller and I used a different branching out die, but the concept is very much the same. She used the branching out dies. I thought it was brilliant to make this cute little box. So as you saw, I've got the nuggets in. It's a little tight, but not a problem. It was more important to me that these 2 go on pretty easily. And when I put it all together, you'll see that the corners will stick out a little bit. I don't think that's a problem at all. So make sure the top, make sure you know which side is top. And I'm only going to put adhesive on the top and the bottom. I'm not putting it in the middle because that's where I'm going to run my ribbon. So I'm going to line it up, kind of try and center it as best I can. And I'm pressing it down. And the reason I put those nuggets in already was so that I've got a good firm grip on there so that when I press on it, it gives me some resistance. And I'm just kind of trying to look at it, see that it's kind of down here, right? If you want to stand it up, you can make sure that it stands up for you. So there we go. So this is going to be the front. I'm going to decorate it afterwards. Yeah. Well, it doesn't really matter. I guess this is going to be my front. My front is going to be this way because I didn't quite, I've got the top. I want that to be the top. Well, yes, I want that to be the top. So let's go ahead and, this is good. Take the ribbon. So I've got this pretty bubble bath ribbon. It's a linen, faux linen ribbon is what it's called. And I'm going to run it in between here. Actually, for me, it's easier to do it this way. So I like to keep it on the spool so that I find that I use a little bit less that way, but it's going to move back and forth. So I slip it in there. I close my box. And you can see how it moves. So now I'm going to kind of assess about where I want that side to go, about how much extra I need. I didn't really measure this. I'm going to have it come on this side. And go ahead and just tie it in a bow. The linen thread or ribbon is really nice to work with. It's not, some ribbon is so slippery that it can be a little tricky to make into a bow. But I find that this one is I really like it a lot. There, and on a little angle. Okay, so now there's my bow. And you can see on this one, I had the doily on the other side. So I'm going to just do it opposite. So you can decide which one you want to do. So I'm going to put my heart over here. Let's slide that over a little. And again, lightly with the liquid glue. You don't want the heart to be below the edge here. And I kind of want to look and see, okay, I know I don't want too much liquid glue on the upper area of the heart because it's not going to be on the box. I just want it on kind of these lower two areas and in the center. So I'm just going to put a little dot there and a little in here. And I do know that one's on there too. So go ahead and put that one on there. And then the heart. And these are just cut from the dies. Did I even tell you that? The Endless Love dies. You can see it comes with all of these wonderful hearts. The small, this is real red. The small arrow, you cut 2 at a time. This is Strawberry Slush. I cut it out of this one. But you can see that there are a lot of other fun dies that go along with this die set. And this, I'm going to use dimensionals. Pop it up a little bit. I think every craft needs a little dimensional. I think I'm going to put it this way. So 1 dimensional there, and then this I'm going to have to cut because it's really small. So I'm going to cut these are the mini dimensionals. You could certainly just cut up your larger ones if that's all you have. But I'm going to put that. Whoops, it's backwards. Right there. I just thought this was a really cute little treat for Valentine's Day. All you need to do is change up your decorations, and you could make it for Easter. Could be Mother's Day. Just change it up a little bit. Let's see. I think I want it that way. There we go. There you go. What do you think? If you like what you see, give me a thumbs up. It helps other people find me. Did that stick? Yeah, there we go. And if you want to see more videos from me, go ahead and like and follow. Hit the subscribe button to follow, and you'll be notified when I release other videos. tried to do it a couple times a month, but you know, sometimes real life just takes precedence, and that's okay too. I hope you liked what you saw, and I appreciate you sticking with me. Again, my name is Linda Edwards. I'm with Crafty Hand Designs, and if you don't have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator that you are currently working with, I'd love to help you become your most creative self. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.